There's no sign of blood. Not anywhere. I've searched everywhere. The executioner's hands are clean, his nails transparent. The sleeves of each assassin are spotless. No sign of blood, no trace of red.
Faiz Ahmed Faiz's poem In Search of Vanished Blood is about hidden truths. Violence erased, history cleaned up, wounds pushed out of sight. We begin with this poem because it's the world Nalini Malani works in. A world where trauma is buried, silenced, or simply forgotten. Nalini wants us to notice what's been erased, to feel what's been denied, and to recognize the truths we inherit even when no one speaks them. Hidden secrets don't disappear, they return, and the moment we face them, we begin to release them. That's the freedom she's pointing us toward. The poem you've just heard speaks about violence erased from the record, wounds history tries to hide. It points to the partition of British India in 1947, when the land was divided into India and Pakistan. That division caused mass displacement, brutal attacks, and deep, lasting trauma. And the tensions between the two countries remain very real today. Nalini Malani grew up in the shadow of this history. Her family fled from Pakistan to Mumbai, carrying their pain quietly. That silence, the things that were never spoken, became the ground she works from. It became her canvas, her art. Nalini can seem complex at first glance. She's multi-layered, working across so many forms, but at her core, what she's saying is actually quite simple. As children, we grow up with fairy tales, stories, and myths that explain the world to us, and they mold us. I want to be a princess. I want to be Barbie. It sounds innocent, but what we're really absorbing is this: obedient girls and women, heroic men, silent women, and villains punished for stepping outside their role in society. Nalini breaks these stories open and flips them. Princesses become active and vocal. Evil women become survivors and truth tellers. She shows the real, messy, painful experiences of women, the parts that are usually hidden. Let's look at one of those stories.
I know the truth, but no one believes me. I see what's coming, and no one can escape it.
Cassandra is a figure from Greek mythology. She was cursed so that no one would believe her accurate predictions. Nalini flips this narrative and gives Cassandra her voice back. You see Cassandra at the bottom of this art piece. Here's Nalini in her own words about Cassandra.
Because what Cassandra has to tell us is that she could see or intuitively know what was going to happen, but the fact is nobody was listening to her. And in one sense, for me, that's female thought. Intuition and instinct and prognosis are very much to do with the feminine side of one's brain.
Before the partition in 1947, women warned that violence was coming. They could feel the tension rising, but they weren't believed or they were ignored. And when the violence came, women suffered some of the worst of it. Abductions, sexual violence, forced conversions, forced marriages, honor killings, and later being recovered by the state, only to be rejected by their own families. These stories were considered shameful, private, or too dangerous for the new nations to acknowledge. Women's bodies became political battlegrounds, and their trauma was silenced yet again. Nalini works with many familiar myths and stories, and she turns each one inside out. Here are a few well-known figures in stories and myths. Take Alice in Wonderland, for example. A girl who falls into a fantastical, nonsensical world. Nalini says that although Alice comes from a British text, she doesn't really belong to Britain anymore. Alice's story is universal. Nalini's critique is simple. As soon as the child becomes an adult, the public loses interest. Her trauma is forgotten, hidden, erased, silenced. These stories are everywhere. Obedient girls, heroic men, silent women, and villains punished for stepping outside their role. We think of them as cute, safe, nostalgic, but they're not. They shape our sense of who we are long before we realize it. Can you think of a story from your childhood that had these elements in it? Share your thoughts with us. Nalini also responds to the present. India, like many countries, has faced horrific cases of sexual violence. One case in 2018 involved an 8-year-old girl named Asifa in Kathua. It was both a sexual and political crime, a child's body used as a battleground. The details of what happened to her are devastating. Nalini created Please Can You Hear Me to evoke the collective scream of girls and women whose suffering is ignored, politicized, or erased. Let's look at it. Stepping into Nalini's world is an experience. It's not just one artwork. She works across theatre, video, installations, mixed media, and drawing. Her Instagram is like a notebook, a living archive of sketches, thoughts, and fragments. It's fascinating to follow an artist from idea to full fruition. Nalini weaves together myths, memories, politics, and personal stories. But above all, she wants to connect with you. By taking the stories we grew up with, the ones closest to us, and flipping them, she makes us think. You slowly start to peel off the layers within you. You ask yourself, is something hidden in me? Have I been programmed? And when you find that core inside yourself, when you see it clearly, something shifts. You understand, you release, you become free.